Exclusive contracted novel by Feilu Novel Network. Anti-Japanese War. Big Boss, true and bald head worshipped, traversing back to the era of warlord warfare and people struggling to survive. Chen Huayong guarded the mountain customs for 6 years and finally activated the Check.in system. Successful Check.in, congratulations to the host for obtaining a peak army of light infantry. Successful Check.in, congratulations to the host for obtaining the 107 rocket launcher. Successful Check.in, congratulations to the host for obtaining the Type 59 tank. Successful Check.in, congratulations to the host for obtaining the Type 56 submachine gun. Successfully signed in, congratulations to the host for obtaining the aircraft carrier, Fujian. Successful Check.in, congratulations to the host for obtaining the Town 20 fighter jet. Successful Check.in, congratulations to the host for obtaining the Bomb 20 bomber. Chen Huayong, who obtained the Check.in system, vowed to drive the little devils out of the borders of Xia, making those foreign powers who had bullied Xia tremble with fear. A tooth for a tooth, a blood for blood. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. The Big Boss, truly worshipped with a bald head. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. August 1937. Northern 5 Provinces. Huayong Ridge. The sixth head of Huayong village spoke in a shocked tone and asked his boss, Big Head, have you really paid homage to bald heads? Lu Dongjia swallowed a mouthful of water and found it difficult for him to accept it. What bald person? They have names and surnames. Ai Xingzhong, the president of the Xiagua Fu Army and the commander-in-chief of the Xiagua Navy, Land and Air Force. The fourth in charge obviously knew about this matter. He joked with the sixth in charge of Huayong village. It's all about Chen sesame and rotten millet. Why do you mention this? The head of Huayong village with a beard on his face did not refute, he said with a smile. This Lu Dongjia is right, but who could have thought of it? A bandit leader who is in charge of Huayong village and stationed in Baishui, Heishan. He turned out to be the son of Ai Xingzhong, the commander-in-chief of the Nationalist Army, the commander-in-chief of the Navy, Land, and Air Forces of Xia, and the nominal highest executive of Xia. Have you ever heard of Baoding Military Academy in Huangpu Military Academy, kid? The third in command rubbed the Hanyang Zao in his hand, and he smiled as he looked at the sixth in command, whose chin was almost scared. Of course I know. Someone once said that the fate of changing the history of our Xia country will be 2 military academies. One is the Baoding Military Academy, which is currently changing the history of our Xia country. Tang Xingji, a first-term student of Baoding Military Academy, Ai Xingzhong, a second-term student of Baoding Military Academy, Bai Shichong, a third-term student of Baoding Military Academy. These are all famous big shots. At present, although there haven't been many powerful characters appearing at Huangpu Military Academy yet. But as a trusted student of Ai Xingzhong's Huangpu Military Academy, he is destined to become the backbone of our Xia country. That six-headed person is not someone who doesn't know anything. It can be seen that the bandits in Huayong stronghold reveal something extraordinary everywhere. Do you know there is such a person who is a sixth-term student at Baoding Military Academy? That's the first academic achiever in the history of Baoding Military Academy, a legendary existence with no successors. You should know that the test subjects at Baoding Military Academy include Chinese, mathematics, history, geography, etc. Among more than 1,200 candidates in the overall exam, that person ranked first and was admitted to the military academy with the first-place score, which attracted much attention. What's even more suffocating is that getting first place once is not the most difficult thing, the most difficult thing is getting first place again and again, and that person has achieved it. As long as he is present, everyone else will be automatically demoted by 1 place, with only the chance to compete for second place at most. He has taken the first place in all subjects during his study period. During the graduation exam, I passed the graduation exam of Baoding Military Academy with a perfect score. None of the big shots in the Baoding Military Academy have higher grades than him. The third in command calmly spoke out everything he knew. As the words fell, the sixth leader of Huayong village was so frightened that he couldn't speak. After swallowing several mouthfuls of saliva, he struggled to speak. Is this still human? The third in command shook his head with a smile and continued. At that time, General Kai praised him as the most capable talent in the military academy. Mr. Sun referred to him as a top student in the military academy, and Mr. Jiang Wanli, the principal of Baoding, bluntly said, "Love is like siblings." Bai Shichong, who had been arrogant all his life, could only smile bitterly when he saw this person and exclaim, "Since you have developed you, how can you develop Liang?" Upon hearing this, the eyes of Lu Dongjia were almost scared to the point of falling out. What happened later? Third in command, don't be too close. What happened later? Later on, Mr. Sun established a military academy in the south called Huanpu Military Academy, said the head of the Sandang family as he looked up into the distance, reminiscent of memories. At a young age, this person has already been the vice president and second instructor of Huanpu Military Academy. Even Marshal Blyaker, who came from the Great Bear country, praised him as a rare military genius in a century. Speaking of this, the voice of the third leader changed and he looked at the sixth leader with a smile. Do you know what happened later? What happened? The sixth in command quickly asked. Later, in a battle, he led a company of troops to break through the enemy's entire encirclement, rescuing the president of the Nationalist Army, the commander-in-chief of the Navy, Land and Air Forces of Xia, and the nominal supreme executive of Xia, Ai Xingzhong. Ai Xingzhong, who was rescued, cried bitterly. He was pulling on this person's sleeve at the time, insisting on bowing to them. Just as the third leader finished speaking, the sixth leader suddenly realized. Shocked to the point of shock, the sixth in command hurriedly stood up, looking incredulously at his boss, Chen Huayong with a beard all over his face. A foothold is unstable. The head of the sixth household slammed a dog and gnawed on the mud, ha ha ha. Several leaders burst into laughter. Big boss. The sixth boss pointed at Chen Huayong and said, that person who is so awesome is actually you. You. You're also too powerful. Too powerful, right? How did the head of the Lu family know that his own boss still had such a legendary identity? He was so scared that he could speak fluently. At this moment, Chen Huayong stood up, without any defense or admission. It's been 6 years. Chen Huayong looked into the distant sky, as he had been away from the Northern Expedition Army for 10 years. And he has been fighting against the Japanese pirates in the northern 5 provinces for 6 years. Things are different from people. He used a copycat to stir up the Japanese pirates in the 5 northern provinces, causing restlessness. But that alone is not enough. It's far from enough. He traveled to this world for decades, not just to fight against Japanese pirates in the northern 5 provinces. Now his 6-year contract with the system has also arrived. The Japanese pirates will also launch the Battle of Shanghai on August 13, 1937. At that time, the Shanghai Stock Exchange would fall and Jinling City would fall. The Japanese pirates will also launch inhumane massacres in Jinling City. And half of the country in Xia will fall into the hands of the Japanese pirates. This situation is completely unacceptable to Chen Huayong. So regardless of whether the system is successfully activated or not, he will rush to Jinling City. They will stop the iron hooves of the Japanese people from trampling on the beautiful rivers and mountains of Xia. We will protect the ordinary people who may die under the butcher's knife of the Japanese pirates. Even if I die there, I will remain steadfast until death. Have you made a decision, big boss? The usually silent second in command stood up and asked Chen Huayong. Among so many leaders in Huayong village, the second in command understands Chen Huayong the most. I understand him the most as a junior. Although dead, there is no regret. He, AI Jingqing, can achieve the goal of leaving behind millions of Xia people in Jinling City. Leave his students behind. Me, Chen Huayong. I can't do it. Chen Huayong's words shook people's hearts. In Shanghai and Jinling, there are millions of unarmed Xia people. There are countless students like Chen Huayong. How can one let their students sacrifice their lives for the country before they die as instructors? The second in charge nodded. Zui, help me guard Huayong Fortress well. When I raise 1,000,000 soldiers, I will reunite with my brothers to restore the mountains and rivers of Xia. Chen Huayong patted the shoulder of the second in charge Fu Zui and said. Okay, big shot. Yi Ting. Chen Huayong looked at Yi Ting, who was also from the 6th phase of the Baoding Military Academy and was still caressing his brother maid in Hanyang. Arrive. Help Zui, guard Huayong Fortress well. If Huayong village is lost, I'll take you for questioning. Yes. Yi Ting also saluted Chen Huayong with a military salute. After speaking, Chen Huayong looked at the 6 leaders who had just been frightened and couldn't speak. Enter the mountain. I'm planning to go to Songhu to fight against the Japanese pirates this time, won't you come with me? Su Jinshan, who gradually recovered from the shock, straightened his body and said, the head of the household, let alone going to Songhu. It's just about going up the mountain of swords and down the sea of fire, and I'll be with you for the rest of my life. Su Jinshan said without hesitation. Then let's go straight. Since the decision has been made, Chen Huayong will no longer stay for a moment. At this moment, the belated sound of the system finally rang in Chen Huayong's ear. Ding, congratulations to the host for completing the 6-year contract and successfully activating the Check.in system. Go to the Battle of Songhu this time. The host can receive the System Novice Gift Package. Beginner's Gift Pack Open. The Peak Army of Human Light Infantry .63 RD Army. During the host's southward journey, they will receive the 63rd Army units in sequence. Subsequent Check.in rewards will be distributed upon the host's arrival in the Songhu area. The Pinnacle of Human Light Infantry. It's them. Chen Huayong's eyes flickered, and he had a few more chances of taking a trip to Shanghai this time. After Chen Huayong left with Su Jinshan and a guard team, Huayong stayed in this bandit den for 6 years. Yi Ting, the third in charge, looked at Chen Huayong's back and said, unsure of what Yi Ting was thinking at this moment. Is a golden scale a thing in the pool? It transforms into a dragon when it encounters wind and clouds. Look. The entire Battle of Songhu will surely be stirred up by his arrival. As for those deceased people, they probably have already exploded by now. Fu Zui patted Yi Ting's shoulder and said confidently. Chapter 2. Spicy Man, he's back. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Capital. Jiang Wanli, who used to be the principal of Baoding Military Academy, is reading a newspaper. Suddenly, one of his former students, Shuiyu, a 6th-term student at Baoding Military Academy, excitedly ran over. After the northern expedition, due to differences in political views, Shuiyu was always idle at home, and later he moved to the capital and became a neighbor with the principal of Baoding Military Academy, Jiang Wanli. After all, Jiang Wanli is a strategic master of the Xia dynasty, and he used to be the principal of the Baoding Military Academy. Principal. Shuiyu walked excitedly towards the inside. What's wrong? Bowling, I see you're so excited. Jiang Wanli happily closed his newspaper. He looked up at Shuiyu. Principal, he's out of the mountains. Shuiyu excitedly said to Jiang Wanli. Who? Who went out of the mountain? Jiang Wanli looked at Shuiyu strangely. Who could go out of the mountain and make General Shui so happy? Yes. Huayong. Huayong said to Jiang Wanli in a trembling voice. Who? Just now, Jiang Wanli's face changed as he was still happy. He suddenly stood up, and due to his excessive movements, the tea on Jiang Wanli's right side spilled out. The tea, which was brewing new tea, flowed down and soaked Jiang Wanli's half-body thoroughly. The tea is a bit hot, and even a slight touch makes it feel hot and painful. But Jiang Wanli was completely unaware. Jiang Wanli raised his right hand and asked again in a trembling voice, "Are you saying? Is it Huayong?" Exactly. Huayong nodded and gave a definite answer. Huayong, where are you going? Jiang Wanli understood Chen Huayong, and since he suddenly appeared in the eyes of the world, he was definitely going to do something big. Songhu. Huayong answered truthfully. Songhu. 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 Jiang Wanli's voice trembled, and his whole body became unusually different from usual due to excitement. The collapse of mountains and rivers is imminent, and heroes will surely turn the tide. Help me stay true to the 9 provinces of China. Trust me, the land of the divine land will not sink. Okay. Okay. All right. Excited Jiang Wanli patted the table and shouted excitedly. With the presence of Huayong, the situation in Shanghai will not deteriorate. The Japanese pirates' attempt to destroy China in 3 months will surely become empty talk. Who could have imagined that Jiang Wanli, who had always been calm and composed, would be so excited about his solo debut? Hurry up, Huayong, pack my bags. You and I should also go to Songhu to help Huayong and quell the Japanese pirates' rebellion. After speaking, Jiang Wanli was in a hurry to pack his package. However, at this moment, a woman appeared in front of Jiang Wanli and Huayong with a feather duster. I see you there. Teacher. Huayong looked at Jiang Wanli's wife with a bitter smile. He arched his hand at Jiang Wanli and said, Principal, it seems that the students need to take a step ahead. After speaking, Huayong immediately left. He seemed afraid that his master's mother would vent all his anger on him. Not just Huayong and Jiang Wanli. After learning the news of Chen Huayong's southern expedition to Songhu, the entire military circle of Xia was shaken. There's no other reason. Because of the man who made them feel unbeatable, he has returned. Due to differences in political views, he disappeared for a whole decade. Now, this man who disappeared for 10 years will stir up trouble again. And the sense of oppression he brought also made the military and political elites extremely complicated. Chuanfang, I didn't expect it. Everyone thought this guy had gone abroad, they thought he would disappear from everyone's sight from now on. But I didn't expect this guy to make a comeback. Wu Peifu, one of the former warlords, pushed the vanguard forward. He played chess while talking to another warlord named Sun Chuanfang. Speaking of which, Sun Chuanfang, the once arrogant warlord, gave a bitter smile and said, if it weren't for him back then, with just a few guys like Ai Xingzhong, Bai Shichong, Li Zongren, and Tang Xingji, they would have wanted to defeat us. Lousy, I haven't convinced them yet. Sun Chuanfang said extremely unwillingly. Old Wu, your car is gone. After speaking, Sun Chuanfang shot down Wu Peifu's car with one shot. Ha ha ha. Wu Peifu burst out laughing and grabbed the horse on the chessboard. General. Old Sun, your heart is in turmoil. However, that kid is indeed a demon, if you and I have any ulterior motives. What do you think that kid can do? Wu Peifu asked with a hint of meaning. Although Sun Chuanfang, the smiling tiger, was subdued by Wu Pei, his mood was not too bad. But when he heard Wu Peifu's words, his whole face changed greatly. I don't know what this guy is feeling guilty about. At this moment, a butler-like person ran in and said, Marshal, a letter sent from the 5 northern provinces. Sun Chuanfang originally wanted to continue opening the letter to ease his embarrassment, but when he saw the large characters written on the letter, he threw it out like an electric shock. Wu Peifu looked a bit strange and said, "What's wrong?" But after he picked up the letter on the ground, he finally understood why Sun Chuanfang had such a reaction. I saw a few words clearly written on the letter. Do not betray your country. My gun, I don't want to kill my fellow countrymen anymore. Chen Huayong, stay. A few simple words scared Sun Chuanfang, who had dominated the world for a lifetime, and his face turned pale. This letter is clearly visible. No, this person is amazing. Wu Peifu saw the letter, but there was no further reaction. He just smiled and said, he is still as arrogant as ever. But this time. It's not our turn to have a headache. It's the little devil who should have a headache. By the way, there's also Ai Xingzhong, his sworn brother. Good show, let's start the gong. After speaking, Wu Peifu carried his hand behind him and walked happily towards the outside of Sun Mansion. It seems that in the future, this Sun Mansion still needs to move less. As expected by Wu Peifu, Ai Xingzhong, who was moving his capital to the mountain city, learned about Chen Huayong's departure from the mountains. His mood is mixed with various flavors. It is said that Ai Zheng locked himself in his room for a full day. The next morning, Ai Xingzhong finally found Tang Xingji, who had already been completely ignored by him. I don't know what methods Ai Xingzhong used, but Tang Xingji actually agreed to let him serve as the commander of the Jinling City Security Command. This really surprised Li Zongren and Bai Shichong. However, when Li Zongren and Bai Shichong also learned that Chen Huayong was about to rush to Songhu, their doubts were instantly resolved. After all, with Chen Huayong's influence, perhaps only Tang Xingji would not be completely suppressed by him. After all, Tang Xingji has been at odds with Chen Huayong since the beginning. However, Bai Shichong sneered at Ai Xingzhong's choice and said, Ai Xingzhong has taken an unprecedented stinky move. How could a tiger be intimidated by a domestic cat? Tang Xingji doesn't even have the qualification to lift shoes for Chen Huayong, and Ai Xingzhong would actually choose to use Tang Xingji. However, as soon as Bai Shichong finished speaking, Li Zongren said, Shichong, but it seems that the entire nationalist army doesn't have anyone who can intimidate Chen Huayong. As soon as he said this, Bai Shichong, who had always been arrogant and pretentious, trembled all over. The memories that were held by Chen Huayong flooded in. Bai Shichong's gaze instantly dimmed. Ha! Bai Zikingchang exhaled a mouthful of turbid air and said slowly, this demon. At this moment, Chen Huayong was unaware that his departure had caused such a great shock throughout the entire Great Xia Kingdom. But now, his goal is only Songhu. In the coming months, this place will become the most brutal meat grinder battlefield in the world. He's going to rush over. Then he stomped on the Japanese pirates who were attempting to destroy the Great Xia Kingdom within 3 months. Just as Chen Huayong was speeding towards the Songhu area. The system prompt sounded in Chen Huayong's ear, ding, congratulations to the host for gradually receiving the handmade gift package. The system voice has just dropped. A group of troops dressed in yellow and green military uniforms appeared in the distance. Why are there so many soldiers in the army, big shots? Which unit are they from? They are so spirited. Su Jinshan said with some envy when he saw the sudden appearance of the army. Our. Chen Huayong smiled faintly. Subsequently, Chen Huayong took a step forward, leaving behind his shocked eyes that were almost falling off. Su Jinshan's chin was so wide that he could fit an apple in. At this moment, the soldiers dressed in yellow and green military uniforms finally arrived. The 7th Interpenetrating Company of the 63rd Army should have 157 personnel, but it actually has 157 personnel. The company commander is 5,000 Li, reporting to you. The 63rd Army's new 4th Regiment's 3rd Battalion and 4th Company should have 152 personnel, but the actual number has reached 152. Company Instructor Li Yanian, reports to you. The 63rd Army's 1st Regiment, 3rd Battalion, 2nd Company should have a total of 162 personnel, but the actual number has reached 162. Company Commander Long Wenwen, I would like to report to you. The artillery battalion of the 63rd Army's 1st Regiment was supposed to have 221 soldiers, but it actually had 221 soldiers. The battalion commander, Yang Zhenhua, reports to you. Listening to the resounding and powerful reports, then looking at the rows of elite soldiers. Su Jinshan was already shocked to the point of numbness. A big shot. What a god. Chapter 3. Shanghai Sign-In, one of the 3 great artifacts of the guerrilla world. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. As Chen Huayong headed south, the 63rd Army gradually completed their sequels. The entire 63rd Army had a total of 36,366 soldiers, and under the command of Chen Huayong, the entire army quickly gathered towards the Songhu area. Mother sheepy, mother sheepy. The Japanese pirates are too arrogant, insulting me, China. It's time to kill, it's time to kill. Faced with the aggressiveness of the Japanese slave country, Ai Xingzhong, who had always adhered to the national policy of pacifying the interior before going abroad, was completely unable to sit still. On August 9, 1937, Lieutenant Daisan Yukio of the Japanese Navy drove into the Hongqiao airport in Shanghai to provoke and was killed by the security forces of the Daxia garrison. On August 10, the nominal Daxia government issued the Self-Defense and Anti-Japanese War Book, and the army began to gather. On August 13, an attack was launched on the Naval Corps base of the Wanyu Kingdom stationed in Shanghai. The Battle of Songhu has officially begun. Chen Huayong, on the other hand, led the 63rd Army through a 20-day-long journey and finally arrived near the Battle of Songhu. Let's go, let's go, let's go. An old man pushed a cart and shouted to his nagging aunt. As the head of the family, I can't bear to part with it. We spent a lot of money to build this house, so we just threw it away like this. As the head of the household, it's different who sits in this world. Why don't we just leave? Looking at her own house, the aunt still couldn't bear to part with it. You long-haired and inexperienced woman, now you're greedy for a house and don't want to leave. From now on, you don't even have a chance to leave. That little devil, they can kill people, the old man cursed angrily. How are they heading towards Shanghai? Speaking, the aunt pointed at Chen Huayong and his 63rd Army. The old man also looked in the direction of his own wife, and the next second, the old man was also stunned. Although the old man had seen many armies rushing towards the Battle of Songhu during this period, he had not yet seen such an army in front of him. From the resolute gaze, one can see how unique this army is. While carrying weapons and equipment forward, they can still sing a loud military song at the same time. This. Is it really the army of Xia Kingdom? At this moment, the heavens are not beautiful. The rain poured down like a gate was opened, pouring down fiercely. The old man who was just urging his aunt-in-law was also subdued by this heart-wrenching army at present. As the rain grew heavier, the cheeks and clothes of Chen Huayong and all the soldiers of the 63rd Army were drenched thoroughly. These advancing soldiers couldn't even keep their eyes open. The road was muddy and the mud stuck to the shoes, making people feel very uncomfortable. But even for the soldiers of the 63rd Army, this is still not much. At this moment, Chen Huayong suddenly shouted loudly, "Brothers, are you tired? Protecting our country and family, not tired. Not tired. Not tired." A strong and powerful voice pierced through the rain curtain, shaking the soul. The powerful voice made the ordinary people who saw this army involuntarily cast admiring gazes. Faced with the answer from the 63rd Army soldiers, Chen Huayong exclaimed, "It's not tiring of you guys, you dare to deceive me. After more than 20 days' journey, the soles of my feet have worn calluses. Are you telling me you're not tired? Do you think you're tough and tough?" The soldiers burst into laughter upon hearing this, and they replied again, "Tired. That's right, of course I'm tired. Do you still remember the military song that Laozi taught you? I'll take ahead and cheer you up. After speaking, Chen Huayong cleared his throat and took the lead in singing, "Move forward, move forward, move forward." Starting with Chen Huayong, the soldiers followed suit one after another. The resounding military song is extremely shocking in this rain curtain, and the penetrating sound spreads in all directions. Move forward, move forward. Our team faces the sun, treading on the land of our motherland, carrying the hope of the nation. We are an invincible force, we are the children of workers and peasants, we are the people's armed forces, never fear, never surrender, bravely fight. The resounding and powerful singing boosted the morale of the soldiers, seemingly instantly eliminating their fatigue. The army is still advancing, just opposite to the direction of those ordinary people who have left the Shanghai Stock Exchange. Live towards death. This is a steel teacher who is preparing to enter the mortal purgatory for the people of the Great Xia Kingdom. Not only the old man, but everyone's gaze was drawn to them. The people who were busy running for their lives looked towards the direction of the 63rd Army, and they lowered their heads to talk. Where did this army come from? It's really tough. I feel like this army is extraordinary. This song is so beautiful. Are these really the soldiers of our Great Xia Kingdom? If all the soldiers of our Great Xia Kingdom were like this, give the little devils 100 courage, they wouldn't dare to invade our Great Xia Kingdom, would they? We are running for our lives, but the soldiers are risking their lives for us. The rain is too heavy, boil some ginger soup for the children to drive away the cold. These people took action one after another. Even the old man who was just in a hurry and preparing to escape, took action. However, at this moment, Chen Huayong personally ran to the front of these ordinary people. Villagers, I heard you're going to boil ginger soup for us to ward off the cold. I'll take your heart. But our 63rd Army never takes a single stitch from the common people. The little devil's attack is very fierce right now. Hurry up and head west, the farther you go, the better. We will block the little devils for you, unless we are all dead. After Chen Huayong finished speaking, he gave me a military salute as ordinary people, and then turned around and left. These originally worried ordinary people heard this sentence, and their previous anxiety dissipated a bit. The fear of the future is slowly spreading. With such an army to protect them, China will not perish. Huaxia will not perish. Huaxia will not perish. Huaxia will not perish. The common people shouted in unison. Chen Huayong and all the soldiers of the 63rd Army heard this shout and stopped their steps. Immediately turn around. A military salute was paid to the people of Xia Kingdom. China will not perish. For these simple people, for the Great Xia Kingdom. Even if they were to die, they would not let the iron hooves of the people of the Wu Kingdom fall. Rampaging this beautiful river and mountain. Soon, under the leadership of Chen Huayong, the 63rd Army had reached the peripheral positions of the Songhu area. At this time, the Songhu battlefield has become a pot of porridge. Chen Huayong understands. After this battle, Songhu will definitely be unstoppable. It's not that the army of Xia Kingdom is not elite, it's true that there is a micro-operator master in the nationalist army, who is Chen Huayong's sworn brother. And a group of wine bags and rice bags. These wine bags and rice bags are full of personal wealth, making a fortune for the country. Under their command, no matter how much troops are deployed on the Battle of Songhu, it is also impossible to withstand the attacks of the sea, land, and air forces of the Wu Kingdom. So what Chen Huayong needs to do next is not to rush into the Battle of Songhu and bombard the enemy with cannon fodder. Chen Huayong had a clear understanding of a period of history, within that period of history. After the outbreak of the Battle of Songhu on August 13, 1937, the Guangxi Army quickly mobilized, and 6 Guangxi Army Ace divisions, including the 171st and 173rd Divisions, rushed to the front line of the anti-Japanese war without hesitation. 60,000 soldiers from the Gui army arrived at the Battle of Songhu on foot for over 2 months. In just 3 days, over 60,000 Gui army soldiers suffered nearly 40,000 casualties, nearly 10,000 brave soldiers, and almost none survived. 6 elite teachers walked for more than 2 months, but they ran out of stock after 3 days on the Shanghai Stock Exchange. Such a fierce battle. Every time Chen Huayong thinks of this, he feels like his heart is dripping blood. So even if he knew that the front line was heavily damaged, he couldn't recklessly lead the 63rd Army into it. That will only reimburse the 63rd Army in this flesh and blood mill. So Chen Huayong must act in the opposite direction. He wants to build a strong position between Shanghai Stock Exchange and Shirtu City. If the army of the Little Devils wants to pass through this position, they must pay the price of bleeding. You should know that one of the most skilled battles of the 63rd Army is resistance warfare. Back then, the army of the Bald Eagle could not penetrate the defense line of the 63rd Army, let alone these Little Devils. Of course, this does not mean that Chen Huayong gave up hundreds of thousands of troops on the Battle of Songhu. He wants to send an interlude unit to break into the battlefield of Songhu. Gather all the troops that can be gathered, and disrupt all the plans made by Ai Zheng and the group of lying dragons and phoenixes around him. The Battle of Songhu is also good. Whether it's a national war between Xia Kingdom and Wanyu Kingdom, it must be fought on Chen Huayong's chessboard. Just as Chen Huayong was making up his mind, a crisp sound came from the check. In system. Congratulations on the host's successful check.in. The host will receive 107 rocket launchers, 20 of them. 107 rocket launcher. One of the 3 great artifacts. After hearing the system's check.in reward content, Chen Huayong's breathing became a bit louder. I have this thing in hand. The end of the Little Devil. Here we go. Chapter 4. The Great War begins, Little Devil's Reconnaissance Aircraft. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. 107 rocket launcher. One of the 3 great artifacts in the Guerrilla world. The artillery rocket weighs 18.8 kilograms and can be carried by individual soldiers. Each person in a squad can carry one, which is the firepower of a howitzer battalion. The launch frame is detachable, with a single component weight not exceeding 30 kilograms. The size also fully considers the human-machine effect. When carrying it, it should not exceed the neck, buttocks, shoulders, and center of gravity, which is very conducive to individual transportation. The adaptability of this cannon to vehicles is also very good, and any vehicle you choose is a very professional self-propelled rocket launcher. Its single rocket launcher has a launch tube length of only 0.9 meters and weighs 23 kilograms. A strong man can carry a rocket launcher and 2 shells, and after launching an attack 8 kilometers away, he can calmly evacuate without leaving even a shell. The most important thing is that the 107 rocket launcher is very sturdy, capable of firing with or without a barrel. It can be directly placed on the ground and ignited with a few dry batteries and wires. There is no dry battery. If you place it on the ground and knock off the back cover, you can still fire it. When launching, simply aim the rocket at the target, just like a rifle with 3 points and 1 line of sight, without requiring any mathematical knowledge. Such a weapon. It's just a divine artifact. If used properly, it can be used in subsequent resistance and interweaving missions. It may have a miraculous effect. Even when facing the fighter jets of the Little Devils, there is a great chance of winning. As the rain gradually stopped, Chen Huayong and the senior officers of the 63rd Army gathered together. A map of the Songhu area is hanging in a temporarily borrowed room. Chen Huayong pointed his baton at the Songhu area. This is the Shanghai Stock Exchange. This is Jinling City. According to current intelligence, it can be known that in the Songhu area, the Japanese pirates' army has deployed 9 divisions with 220,000 soldiers, while the Daxia army will deploy 73 divisions with over 700,000 soldiers. However, based on my analysis and judgment, coupled with my understanding of the micro-operations of my sworn brother, he will definitely have fantasies about the so-called League of Nations, so he won't easily withdraw his troops. Chen Huayong sneered at this. Over the years, AI Xingzhong has not changed at all. Although only suitable for commanding a platoon in combat, he insisted on intervening in the confrontation between countries. Micro-Master. This title is not just hyped up. If Chen Huayong was not mistaken, AI Xingzhong would definitely want the intervention of foreign powers. But at this time, the trend of appeasement among the great powers prevailed, and they could even betray the allied states. What's more, it's an ancient country with accumulated poverty and weakness. They will certainly call the initiative of the Daxia army to provoke war in the Shanghai demilitarized zone as a breach of peace and ignore the demands of Daxia. Chen Huayong is different from AI Xingzhong, as he does not place his hopes on foreign powers. So, my plan is for our army to build defensive positions on the necessary route from Shanghai Stock Exchange to Jinling City. The 187th Division was built on the north side of Jinling City, with a defensive line built around the areas of Zijin Mountain and Qinhuai River. As for the 188th Division, another defensive line was built on that flat land, 10 kilometers away from Jinling City. The choice that our army needs to uphold is to consume the enemy's living forces, search for fighter jets, and inflict heavy damage on the enemy. If the enemy army is only one division, lead them into the Nianzhuang area, surround them, and annihilate them. If it's just to block the enemy, it doesn't align with Chen Huayong's goal. Striving forward in defense is what Chen Huayong wants to do. Besides that, interspersing the 7th Company, 1st Regiment 4th Company, 5th Company, 6th Regiment 8th Company, 5th Regiment 3rd Company. These soldiers who have experienced countless battles have even more important tasks. I need them to enter the battlefield of Songhu and bring back my former students in an orderly manner. Gather the defeated soldiers on the Battle of Songhu, and don't let them die unnecessarily under the guns and artillery of the Japanese pirates. The most important ones are those mechanics, most of whom are my students. Encounter them, tell them it's my order from Chen Huayong. In Chen Huayong's heart, there was actually a list of people who would listen to him and retreat back. What kind of battle to the end, sacrificing oneself for the country? Chen Huayong cannot control a person's will, he can only do his best to make them withdraw. And then, as a teacher myself, go ahead. Yes. After receiving the order, the 187th and 188th Divisions respectively deployed defensive fortifications at designated locations. At present, the Songhu battlefield has become a mess of kanji. In fact, this is also the arrangement of defense fortifications for the 187th and 188th Divisions, leaving some time. Due to the fact that the distance between Shanghai Stock Exchange and Jinling City is indeed too close, the construction of its defensive works is extremely difficult. But this will not defeat the soldiers of the 63rd Army either. Just as the soldiers of the 63rd Army were passionately building defensive works, the weapons and equipment signed in by the system have also successfully reached the outskirts of the Songhu battlefield. Captain Fu, Captain Fu. Here, here. A soldier ran in excitedly. What's here? Commander Fu frowned and asked the soldier. Weapons. Weapons and ammunition, the soldier said out of breath. Weapons and ammunition. I didn't ask the commander for weapons and ammunition. Commander Fu asked somewhat strangely. In order to cope with the upcoming attacks from the Little Devils, the 63rd Army had abundant weapons and ammunition from top to bottom. Although heavy firepower weapons and equipment are still lacking, Commander Fu does not believe that the Little Devils can easily break through their defenses. The reason is very simple. Their 63rd Army is definitely the pinnacle of light infantry. Even when facing the sea, land, and air forces of the Little Devils, he is fearless. The commander asked me to report, he said there was a batch of rocket launchers. The quantity is not large, only about 20 doors. After dismantling 2 or 3 rocket gun barrels for the assault team, the rest were all transferred over. Leave it at your disposal, Captain. Rocket artillery. Upon hearing this sentence, Commander Fu's eyes widened. The whole person was shocked and speechless by the sudden surprise. If the 63rd Army could have rocket launchers. And there are still 17 or 18 rocket launchers. For the 63rd Army, it's like adding wings to a tiger. Let's go. Let's go. Take me, take me. Take a look. Commander Fu said in a trembling voice. In no time, Captain Fu arrived at the pickup truck carrying the 107 rocket launcher barrel. Looking at these sturdy pickup trucks, then seeing the densely packed rocket launchers with gun barrels on them. Commander Fu looked incredulously at himself. Not just him. All the officers following him made unified movements. Swallow saliva. They were really scared. Rocket artillery, this thing. This. Commander Fu touched the barrel of the 107 rocket launcher, trembling all over. The commander said, this thing can definitely give the little devils a big surprise. It's definitely a little devil's nightmare. Commander Fu nodded and kept saying, okay. Set it up, set it up. Give the Little Devil's Air Force and the Little Devil's Army Armored Unit a surprise. Calm as Commander Fu, I couldn't help but burst into laughter. And with the positioning of the 107 rocket launcher, the Little Devils seemed to have also discovered anomalies in the outer direction of the Songhu battlefield. After all, an army suddenly appeared on the outskirts of the Battle of Songhu, and they did not immediately launch an attack. Instead, we are starting to build defensive fortifications. This is unusual everywhere, naturally attracting the high attention of the Little Devils. So, 2 Japanese Type 92 fighter jets flew towards the position of the 63rd Army as reconnaissance planes. Sangmu Jun, what a boring task. Those fools in the military department are a bit too cautious. They even asked us to carry out such a foolish task. At present, the Xia army is in a state of collapse, running around like a dog. Where else do they have the courage to confront the Imperial Army head? On, said the guy named Yuzo Sasuke in an extremely arrogant tone. Ha ha ha, Sasuke. You don't like the army's bunch of idiots, do you? Sang looked at Yun and laughed heartily. Those damn fools, Xia people's money, Xia people's women. Sangmu Jun, I am ready to join the army. I heard General Matsui has issued an order, as long as we capture Jinling City in Daxia Kingdom. We can let go and slaughter the city, ha ha ha, millions of pigs. My samurai sword is already starving and thirsty, Sangmu Jun. How about we make an agreement? At that time, let's have a killing contest to see who killed more pigs in. Yoshi, ha ha ha. Just as the 2 little devils were emitting extremely unpleasant laughter, they suddenly noticed something unusual on the ground. Sangmu Jun, look. Those pigs are really digging for fortifications. They are like a group of poor mice. Sangmu Jun, I have a proposal. What about the competition to kill Xiagua pigs from now on? After speaking, Yuzo Sasuke piloted a Type 92 fighter jet and rushed towards the defensive position of the 63rd Army. Chapter 5. Hellfire, 107 Rocket Artillery. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The Type 92 fighter jet, piloted by Yuzaburo Sasuke and Mitsunari Mitsunaro, was used as a reconnaissance aircraft this time. But in order to avoid encountering the Nationalist Army Air Force on the Battle of Songhu, these 2 fighter jets still carried a large amount of ammunition. Of course, the reason why these 2 little devils dare to be so arrogant is still because they have gone through several previous battles. The air force of the Nationalist Army has been depleted, and it can be said that Xia's airspace is already in an undefended state. Yoshi. Sasuke, that's a great idea. Sang said with a bright smile in his eyes. But how many pigs will die if this round of strafing goes on? This is not easy to count. Two little devils were piloting Type 92 fighter jets and diving towards the position of the 63rd Army at an extremely fast speed. At this moment, these little devils didn't know that they were rushing down so crazily. Just serving appetizers to the 63rd Army. The position of the 187th Division of the 63rd Army. The division commander immediately discovered the little devil's Type 92 fighter jet. Damn it, these little devils are too arrogant. Rocket artillery camp, stab them down for me. I want them to come and go. Yes. The meticulously disguised 107 rocket launcher waited for the little devil's fighter jet to approach. The little devil's Type 92 fighter jet is getting closer and closer. Sasuke Yuzo's face began to become extremely twisted. Take it to death. Asterisk asterisk pig. Ha ha ha. Sasuke Yuzo let out a crazy shout. However, his pride did not last long. Just as he was about to press the cannon button, a roaring Hellfire wheel rushed towards the direction of the Type 92 fighter he was piloting. Shoo, shoo, shoo. Shoo, shoo, shoo. The 107 rocket launcher let out an angry roar, and a round of rockets hit the little devil's head head-on. Bridge with burlap bag, what is that? Seeing the weapon suddenly flying out, carrying a terrifying flame. Little devils are all foolish. His pupils contract rapidly, and he instinctively needs to pull upwards when operating the lever. Ba ga. What kind of weapon are they? Cunning. In almost an instant, sweat soaked Yuzo Sasuke's back. At this moment, this little devil is not as arrogant as before. He's almost scared to pee. I only hate that the Type 92 fighter jet didn't have a few more engines, allowing him to escape this hell. Although the Type 92 fighter jet struggled to pull up, it flew slowly and low, making it a perfect target. In front of the 107 rocket launcher, he has no way to escape. Bomb. Before Sasuke Yuzo could finish speaking, the enraged 107 rocket launcher tore the fighter plane apart. The Type 92 fighter jet disintegrated instantly in the air. A huge fireball fell fiercely from the air towards the ground. Baga. The other little devil, Sang, was almost scared out of his eyes. His soul was almost scared away by this unexpected scene. Without hesitation, Sangmu Guangyun quickly turned the aircraft's fuselage and made a sharp turn, about to escape this area. Meanwhile, Sang's gaze turned on the radio station that had just been equipped for the Type 92 fighter jet. Call home. Call home. Sasuke Jun died in battle, Sasuke Jun died in battle. On the position being built by the enemy, they have a Hellfire like. Ba ga. Bomb. Sha sha sha. A rustling sound came from the headquarters radio station of the Little Devils. The Little Devils responsible for answering messages are all foolish. Does this mean that all their reconnaissance planes have been reimbursed? It turned out that just as Sangmu Guanyin thought he was escaping into the sky, the Type 107 rocket launcher launched another salvo. The Type 107 rocket launcher is extremely fast and powerful. Although its accuracy is not high, the speed of the Little Devil's fighter jet is too slow, making it a live target. A salvo shot, the Little Devil's Type 92 fighter jet had no way to avoid or escape. These 107 rocket launchers are simply amazing. I watched as two little Japanese fighter jets crashed to the ground, emitting a crackling sound of combustion. The commander of the 187th Division excitedly said, "With this thing in hand, you can definitely give the Little Devils a barbecue feast. Think of this." Even the commander of the 187th Division became extremely excited. "Send my command and immediately transfer the 107 rocket launcher to its position. Make a good disguise and don't expose your position," commanded the commander of the 187th Division. "Yes, Master. At the same time that the 187th Division immediately transferred the 107 rockets, the military headquarters of the whole UNU sent troops. It's boiling. P.S. New book upload, I hope all brothers can provide more support. This is also my first novel at Feilu. In addition, the fourth chapter of the previous heavy transmission was due to review reasons. After all, this subject matter needs to be written a little bit. Chapter 6. He is the strongest general of the Great Xia Kingdom. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. On Shanghai Stock Exchange, the headquarters of sent troops from the slave country. What Hellfire? What you mean is the army that appeared on the outskirts of Jinling City. Do they have a weapon and equipment called Hellfire in their hands? Matsui Tugging, commander-in-chief of the Japanese army looked at the messenger and asked. Reply. Your Excellency, General. This is what I heard from Sangmu Jun in his last sentence. It's like this, the little devilish messenger stuttered. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Upon hearing the reply of the little devil's messenger, a group of senior officers and staff members of the Japanese slave country burst into laughter. Hellfire. Fools, fools, if pigs really had such weapons, they would not be beaten like dogs by us on the Somhu battlefield. *** people, their brain capacity is as big as a walnut. What advanced weapons can they have? The sick men of East Asia are just a group of easily crushed scum. I want to see what the hell is going on in pigs' hands. Although 2 reconnaissance planes were inexplicably destroyed, the senior officers of these little devils were still extremely arrogant. They do not believe that the army of Xia Kingdom has many strong fighter jets. Of course, as the overall commander of this operation, Matsui Tugging did not have the same blind optimism as his subordinates. As the highest commander of the Little Devils, Matsui Tsujing has recently received some unusual news. The collective vibration from the top management of Xia Kingdom seems to be due to a spicy man returning. Akita Jun, do you know there is a character named Chen Huayong in Xia State? Matsui Tugging suddenly asked. Chen Huayong. It seems that he was overwhelmed by the words of Matsui Tugging, and these little devils, one by one, don't know how to answer. This name. Not very familiar. The senior officer of one of the little devils replied. Faced with this answer, Songjing Tu Gung appeared somewhat dissatisfied. This person rose like a comet and disappeared like a comet for a whole decade. Since his appearance, he has been acting low-key and often puts himself behind the scenes in times of war. You don't know, it's understandable. But as soldiers of the Empire, you don't even know who your opponents are. Then you are foolish. Matsui Tsujing shouted angrily. Baoding Military Academy 6th term students. Vice President and Vice Instructor of Huangpu Military Academy. Ai Xingzhong's sworn brothers are also the key to the nominal unification of the Xia Kingdom by the Nationalist Army. This person surpasses many generals and stars of the Great Xia Kingdom and is the strongest soldier of the Great Xia Kingdom. However, the Imperial Military Intelligence has not conducted much investigation into this person. This is a shame to the Imperial Intelligence Agency. Matsui Tsujing roared fiercely. Based on the intelligence we currently have, this person is highly likely. I have already returned. And the person who built defensive fortifications around Jinling City is highly likely to be him. Not to mention the cultivation of Songjing soil, most Japanese pirate generals have limited knowledge of Chen Huayong. Even during the years when Chen Huayong appeared, he always acted in a low-key manner. Moreover, after the failure of the northern expedition, he disappeared from everyone's sight for a full 10 years. This is enough to make the intelligence agencies of the Japanese slave country no longer pay attention to a Xia country general like Chen Huayong. Send me orders, no matter who the people on the outskirts of the Somhu battlefield are. We also need to immediately destroy their defensive positions to cut off the army's escape route to the west on the battlefield of Xia Kingdom Songhu. General Fujita, the 3rd Division is under your command. Take this position and kill them all. Matsui Tugging is truly an old fox, and he can see at a glance the importance of Chen Huayong building defensive fortifications on the outskirts of the Songhu battlefield. The 3rd Division. After hearing the command of Matsui Tugung, everyone was shocked. You should know that there is a tradition in the military of the Wanu Kingdom, which is that the more advanced the division, the more capable it is to fight. Nowadays, on the battlefield of Songhu, the number of troops of the Wanu Kingdom is already at a disadvantage. Matsui Tsujing surprisingly waved his hand and sent out the 3rd Division, which may have the strongest combat power. This shocked the top management of the group of little devils, causing them to lose face intuitively. Your Excellency General Matsui, according to the analysis of the military headquarters, 1 imperial soldier can deal with 10 soldiers. We don't need the 3rd Division to take action, as a mixed brigade we can take down the enemy's position. Your Excellency General Matsui, a battalion is enough. I once led a battalion to chase after the troops of the 2 armies of Xia. I dare to guarantee that within 3 hours, we will capture the enemy's position. The senior officers of those little devils were eager to try one by one. Ba ga. Matsui Tugging cursed loudly, and the little devils finally quieted down. Fujita Jun, it's up to you. Hi-e. The 3rd Division is sure to crush the enemy. After receiving the command, Lieutenant General Fujita Inoue turned around and left. At the same time, Chen Huayong held a telescope and observed the situation in the distance. Suddenly, he said to Su Jinshan standing beside him, "Let the 63rd Army prepare for battle up and down. Enemy, we may start attacking." Enemy. Su Jinshan looked at the calm battlefield and couldn't figure it out. He didn't know where his elder brother came from. However, Su Jinshan faithfully executed Chen Huayong's orders and said, "Yes, Dadang." "Yes, Commander." Just as Su Jinshan turned around and left, the systems checked that IN sound came again. Congratulations on the host's successful check that IN. The host will receive a new round of check that IN rewards. P.S. We apologize for any inconvenience caused by the repeated 4th chapter. I will do my best to consider the following stories. The current plan is to make a daily change of 10,000 words, which is not feasible for the party. Please understand, brothers. Today's 2nd chapter is presented. Chapter 7. Shocking Commander 63, you call this light step. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The host will receive 500 Type 89 heavy machine guns. Good guy. Type 89 heavy machine gun. Domestic products. With a weight of 26.2 kilograms, it is the lightest 12.7 mm heavy machine gun in the world. What truly makes this heavy machine gun famous is not its power, but an extremely interesting thing. It is said that at that time, the newly equipped large-caliber heavy machine gun for military support in the polar bear country weighed only 25 kilograms. You should know that at that time, several mainstream heavy machine guns in the world weighed 34 kilograms on the barrel alone, and even approached 100 kilograms with a tripod. The portability advantage brought by such a lightweight large-caliber machine gun is undoubtedly an icing on the cake for the highly mechanized polar bear army. And this is causing the rabbit to worry. So, in accordance with the law that the great powers are responsible for making pancakes and the rabbits are responsible for implementing them. With a weight of 26.2 kilograms, the world's lightest 12.7 mm heavy machine gun, the Type 89 heavy machine gun, has been launched. Of course, the light weight of the gun body does not mean that the Type 89 heavy machine gun has low power. The use of this domestically produced heavy machine gun is mainly flat fire, used to kill enemy active forces, suppress enemy light weapon firepower points, and damage enemy light armored vehicles. In necessary situations, the Type 89 heavy machine gun can even switch to high-altitude shooting mode to strike slow-air targets such as armed helicopters and transport helicopters flying at low altitudes. Its usage environment and purpose are extremely flexible. This caliber of heavy machine gun can even achieve the effect of breaking the human torso from a distance of kilometers. The king of light infantry weapons. Undoubtedly. This weapon is definitely suitable for the 63rd Army, one of the peak armies of light infantry. Entering the mountain. Chen Huayong couldn't conceal his excitement and let out a loud roar. Arrive! Captain Fu, Captain Fu. Su Jinshan, who received the Type 89 heavy machine gun, ran towards the direction of the 63rd Army headquarters with a stuttering sound. Entering the mountain. Why did you come? Fu Junchang looked at Su Jinshan, who was smiling brilliantly, with a bewildered expression on his face. Commander Fu, do you want a heavy machine gun? Su Jinshan said mysteriously to Commander Fu. Upon hearing this, Commander Fu burst into laughter. Heavy machine guns are not lacking in the 63rd Army. But more is better. Ha ha ha, if you have it, I don't mind too much. Upon hearing this, Su Jinshan also smiled. Your child is so calm at the moment. Let's see what expression you have on your face. If you can carry 2 of these heavy machine guns alone, I'll give you all of them. Su Jinshan shook his hand and said seemingly calmly. Are you joking? It's unlikely for someone to hold a heavy machine gun, let alone carry 2 heavy machine guns. So how light is this heavy machine gun? Captain Fu laughed heartily. But when he looked at Su Jinshan, who remained steadfast in his face, he finally realized something was wrong. Really? Captain Fu swallowed his saliva and asked with difficulty. Actions speak louder than words. When General Fu saw the Type 89 heavy machine gun weighing only 26.2 kilograms. His eyes are all straight. When he personally operated the Type 89 heavy machine gun and easily pierced through the thick steel plates of the Doudingtan tank armor, which was much easier than the Little Devils. Fu Junchang held this Type 89 heavy machine gun, looking even more intimate than holding his own daughter. Law. I'll be obedient. With this thing in hand, I won't be able to defeat the Little Devils. Brother Su, enter the mountain. Is there anything else with this product? Commander Fu stared directly at Su Jinshan, his expression making Su Jinshan both laugh and cry. But it's not surprising to think about it. How can the current Great Xia Kingdom have any good weapons? A Maxim heavy machine gun is already a precious existence. Moreover, the current model can be carried and run like a light machine gun. A heavy machine gun with such destructive power. Commander Fu, then you have to ask the commander. When I saw this thing, my chin was almost scared. You say, how many good guys are still hiding under the command? Su Jinshan couldn't help but sigh. After obtaining the Type 89 heavy machine guns, these heavy machine guns were immediately distributed to the platoon. In the words of Commander Fu, that is to ensure that every company has anti-armor capabilities. Every time the enemy advances, they must pay the price of bleeding. At the same time, the Battle of Shanghai. The Little Devils used planes, cannons, and tanks to launch a massive bombing campaign on the Songhu area of the Great Xia Kingdom. The entire battlefield has turned into ruins, and it is not an exaggeration to describe it as a flesh and blood mill. With the power of great victory, the 3rd Division of the Little Devil led the most elite of the Little Devil in Fujitani. As the elite among the Little Devils, their armored units are definitely not lacking. At present, the 3rd Division of the Little Devil is equipped with many Douding tanks. These Douding tanks, although thin in skin and big in filling, are far inferior to the tanks and armored vehicles of Western powers. But for Daxia, which has a weak industrial foundation, this field is 3.08 meters, 1.62 meters wide, and 1.62 meters high. The Douding tank, which weighs 3.2 tons and has a total combat weight of 3.45 tons, has never been disadvantageous. It is like its creator, a character who bullies the soft and fears the hard like a watchdog. At this time, under the command of the commander of the 3rd Division, Inoue Fujita. Using Douding tanks as cover, 22,000 members of the 3rd Division approached the defense position carefully constructed by Chen Huayong. The contact battle between the 187th Division of the 63rd Army and the 3rd Division of the Little Devils is on the verge of breaking out. In this battle, the Type 89 heavy machine gun will also become a nightmare for the 3rd Division of the Little Devils. Chapter 8. Brothers, open your eyes and take a look at this. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Evening. The 5th Division of the Guangxi Army, which had been fighting for 10 days, broke through the outskirts of the Shanghai market. 60,000 brothers. Now there are less than 5,000 of them left. The Little Devil's firepower is too strong. It's true that it's too fierce. Many brothers were covered by overwhelming artillery fire without even seeing the shadow of the Little Devils. No bones left. Often it's the last group, and one group is gone. Last trip, the entire trip will be reimbursed. Its bloody intensity far exceeded the expectations of all of them. Songhu. This is like a meat and blood mill, where the soldiers of the Great Xia Kingdom are melted. It's not that they're not brave enough, it's not that they're afraid of death. It's really this battle, there's no hope at all. Master. What should we do next? Asked the guard of Yu Xiaoman, the commander of the 3rd Division of the 7th Army of the Guangxi Army. At this moment, the army that broke through was covered in mud from top to bottom. Go to Jinling. As long as we have a breath, we must defend the territory of Xia Kingdom. We must give it to our deceased brothers. Take revenge. 60,000 Guijun wolf soldiers, many of my Guishi good men died here. To the Little Devils, we must exchange blood for blood and teeth for teeth. Yu Xiaoman gritted his teeth and clenched his fists with a clattering sound. Hate. The hatred towards these Little Devils made Yu Xiaoman want to tear open the flesh and blood of these bastards and swallow them in his own stomach. Let's go. Yu Xiaoman waved his hand. Let's go to Jinling. Let's go guard Jinling City, for our brothers. Revenge. Yes. Under the command of Yu Xiaoman, the 5,000 wolf army orderly retreated towards the direction of Jinling City. They were defeated, but they haven't lost yet. Just as the wolf soldiers of the Guangxi army marched towards the Qinhuai River area. The next second, they were frightened by the distant commotion. I saw a large number of Little Devil Douding tanks clearing the way, and the rolling army of Little Devils headed towards Jinling like a torrent. Seeing this scene, Yu Xiaoman and the wolf soldiers of the Gui army were frightened and their souls scattered. Isn't the main force of the Little Devils on the Battle of Songhu? How could they still allocate their troops and go to Jinling City? If they really take the opportunity to attack Jinling City at this time, those high-ranking officials and nobles in Jinling City will definitely escape at the first opportunity. As for those ordinary people who remain powerless, what will these cruel Little Devils do? Think with the soles of your feet, you can think of it. Damn it, damn it, damn it. Yu Xiaoman's eyes were red, and a difficult choice was placed in front of him. The lives of my 5,000 brothers. The lives of millions of unarmed civilians in Jinling City. Master. We are not afraid of death, our brothers are all dead. We should live to be cowards, why not let us die, said the guard of Yu Xiaoman with tears in his eyes. Yes, master, we are not afraid of death. When a person dies, the bird faces the sky. We are afraid of being a fart master. We don't want to die soon, so we still act like cowards. If we go down, our brothers will look down on us. Master, being your soldier in this life is the luckiest thing in my life. Tears slid from Yu Xiaoman's eyes as he watched the innocent and simple smiles on each one. 5,000 defeated soldiers, facing the little devils may be troops with tanks, armored vehicles, and fighter jets. The strength of this army is definitely around 1 division. Strike the stone with an egg, seek your own death. Since ancient times, kindness does not command soldiers. But looking at these soldiers who finally broke out with themselves. Yu Xiaomin just wants to slap himself hard a few times. They are all goddamn children raised by their parents. How can I live up to their parents by letting them die here? But sometimes, things have no choice. Yu Xiaomin looked at the young children one by one and shouted loudly, "The 3rd Division of the 7th Army has it all." Yes. "Get ready to fight" was almost the command given with gritted teeth. Yu Xiaomin's tiger eyes looked towards the direction of the 3rd Division of the Little Devil. However, at this moment, a scene that surprised everyone. At first, countless high-speed black spots appeared in the sky. The black dots keep getting bigger. Continuously growing. Like countless sharp spears piercing towards the little devil's fighter jet. 1 plane. 2 planes. 3 planes. Countless planes. Those arrogant little devil fighter jets were actually pierced like tofu scum. Subsequently, these fighter jets suddenly disintegrated in the air. Finally, it fell down like dumplings. Bang! 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 The little devil's fighter jet slammed fiercely towards the ground, like a symphony playing. Those arrogant little devils, at this moment, were frantically shouting and shouting. Weakness. Unable to withstand a single blow. Yu Xiaomin has never seen such a weak and vulnerable little devil before. This is the elite division of the little devils. They even have today. The rocket launcher had no intention of stopping. Shio shio shio. Shio shio shio. Shio shio shio. Dozens or hundreds of rocket launchers instantly covered the 3rd Division of the Little Devils. Blaze. Explosion. Unprecedented grand scene, exciting and boiling scene. Yu Xiaomin and his 3rd Division brothers have never met before. Flames raging. The little devils struggled in the sea of fire, with flames swirling around them, making a crackling sound of burning. These little devils are invincible and have committed countless evil deeds on the territory of the Great Xia Kingdom. At this moment, the "wow wow" screamed from the scorching flames, like a roasted, suckling pig. As for the other little devils, they were already baptized and directly killed by incoming rocket launchers. The vanguard troops of the 3rd Division are like being in human purgatory. 1 minute later, the battlefield returned to calm. The vanguard troops of the little devils turned a whole battalion into ashes. Just as the soldiers and officers of the 3rd Division of the 4th Army of the Guangxi Army were shocked by the scene before them, it was impossible to describe it in words. A soldier from the 3rd Division of the 7th Army of the Guangxi Army suddenly knelt on the ground. He pointed in the direction of the rocket launcher and was already crying bitterly. "Master, Master! Brothers! Zipeo, who died in battle, open your eyes and take a look. Take a look, take a look. This is ours, ours. It's the cannon of our Great Xia Kingdom. Our cannon." As the words fell, countless rocket launchers flew over everyone's heads again, fiercely smashing towards the 3rd Division of the Little Devils. Soldiers kneeling on the ground, pointing at rocket launchers and crying in pain. Shocked beyond measure by the officers of the 3rd Division. And the 107 rocket launcher, dragging the slender flames and slashing through the air, fiercely smashing towards the little devil's position. Composed a heart-shaking scene. Chapter 9. Captain of the Little Devil's Sect, Startled. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Why did the Battle of Somhu end up like that? Why do soldiers from all over the country use their lives and flesh and blood to charge against enemy gunfire? When the Gui army arrived, there were a total of 60,000 people, but now only 5,000 of them have escaped. What is all this because of? Why is this happening? Because the arrogant little devils can pilot fighter jets above their heads and recklessly drop shells. The artillery of the little devils can wreak havoc to their heart's content, and their brothers were even killed by the artillery without even knowing what the little devils looked like. Those arrogant little devils even drove tanks recklessly, relying on armor that rifle bullets could not penetrate. Their tanks can slowly and leisurely use heavy machine guns and tank guns to face the soldiers of Daxia. These little devils can easily harvest the lives of Xia soldiers like reaping straw. In that battlefield like a flesh and blood mill, their lives may be to fight for half a meter or 1 meter of space for their comrades, creating an opportunity for them to roll into the chassis of enemy tanks wearing hand grenades. All of this. It's all because Xia did not have powerful artillery that could compete with these little devils' tanks, planes, and cannons. And now, when they had already decided to throw their lowly life here, using eggs to strike stones, to buy time for the retreat of the people of Jinling City. They saw it. I saw the rocket launcher flying all over the sky, dragging its slender tail flame, blocking the sky and sun. These rocket launchers easily tear apart the little devils' fighter jets. Those fighter jets that cannot be pierced by machine gun bullets. Easily devouring the tank of the little devil, that rifle bullet cannot penetrate the armored tank at all. The soldiers and officers of the 3rd Division were shocked and couldn't help but cry in pain. They are too difficult. This is like a purgatory-like battlefield in Shanghai, leaving them with no hope at all. They are struggling, trying to take on a human form. For this country. For their home. Our cannon. Even the senior commander of the 3rd Division, Yu Xiaoman, was still kneeling on the ground with a thud. Watching the battlefield ravaged by rocket launchers, it was a mess. No grass grows. Not even a living little devil left behind. Tears ran down Yu Xiaoman's cheeks as he opened his arms and shouted loudly, "Brothers who died in battle, open your eyes and take a look. This is the cannon of our Great Xia Kingdom. Xia Guo. It won't die." That voice was not loud, but extremely penetrating. Like withering flowers and plants, they have regained their vitality. Hope. Everything still has hope. Let's go. Yu Xiaoman shouted at the soldiers of the 3rd Division. "Master, where are we going?" his guard quickly asked. "We'll go wherever this cannon comes from. Because of this. It's the hope of our Great Xia Kingdom." Yu Xiaoman replied. "Yes, Master." After the fierce rocket artillery baptism, the 3rd Division seemed to have been washed again from top to bottom. Originally gloomy, they seemed to see the end of life. Found hope. Unlike the 3rd Division, the Little Devil's 3rd Division saw the overwhelming rocket attack. They're all numb. They have always bullied others like this, smashing countless artillery shells at enemy positions. How could these little devils have thought that they too would have this day? That's how scumbags are. If you don't cut your own flesh, you never know how much it hurts. Moreover, these little devils are among the lowly people. Fujita. General Fujita, it's over. It's over. It's all over. The fire of hell is simply the flame from hell. It's just a flame emerging from hell, the frightened little devilish officer stuttered. At this moment, the commander of the 3rd Division of the Little Devil, Fujita Inoue, was unaware when he was just subjected to fierce shelling. What serious losses his troops have suffered. If it weren't for the fierce rocket fire just now, Fujita Inoue would still be dreaming. Although the commander-in-chief of the Japanese slave army, Matsui Toshijin, has repeatedly warned Fujita Inoue. But Fujita Inoue, who holds a heavy army, does not believe that Chen Huayong is truly a remarkable figure. Fujita even thought that even if he didn't have to go out on his own, his subordinates could easily and happily solve this group of pigs. What's over? The shelling just now, the vanguard troops of the 3rd Division. Our tanks, Air Force fighter jets, and a battalion of troops. All of them died under the enemy's artillery fire. Upon hearing this news, Fujita Inoue, the commander of the 3rd Division of the Little Devil, who was still somewhat confused, was stunned and looked incredulous. Ba ga. Impossible, absolutely impossible. Fujita Inoue shouted loudly, if Daxia Kingdom really had such powerful weapons. We have been battling their army in the Songhu area for so long. It's impossible not to have encountered the country once. After speaking, General Fujitani, with an incredulous mood, pulled the little Japanese officer onto his car. Nakajima Jun. If you dare to deceive me, my samurai sword will mercilessly cut off your head. Inoue Fujita shouted. Drive. Hi-e. The location of Fujita Inoue is not too far from the explosion site. Soon, a large group of senior military officers from the small devils gathered on the burnt land. At that moment, Fujita Inoue was scared to the point where her hands and feet were cold and her soul was shattered. There are no living little devils. Not only are they little devils, they can't even find living creatures. This is simply an uninhabited area. What kind of weapon is it that has such great destructive power? How could this army of Xia have such powerful weapons? They didn't even see the shadow of the Xia army, so they were shot and killed by a round of shells, killing an entire battalion of soldiers. Fujita Inoue has an indescribable sense of defeat. And an indescribable fear. That's right, as the leader of the 3rd Division of the Little Devil, Fujita Inoue is afraid. He never thought he would have such a moment. Damn it. Surprisingly, it's true. Matsui Jun told me that the opponent may be the strongest general of Daxia Kingdom. I still don't believe it. Fujita Inoue said with a bloodless face. At this moment, a staff member from Fujita Inoue took a step forward. Your Excellency General Fujita, although this weapon may seem terrifying, it is definitely not without a crack. Based on my analysis, their artillery should be extremely expensive, and firing should also take advantage of our unpreparedness. Otherwise, we could have launched a cover fire attack on my 3rd Division. At present, the vanguard troops only lose half of their fighter jets and 1/3 of their tanks. Our 3rd Division still has very strong capabilities. The little devilish staff pointed to the position of the 63rd Army's defense. Your Excellency General Fujita. I think this army is just strong on the outside but weak on the inside. Just caught us off guard. As long as we cover the enemy's positions with artillery fire like in the Battle of Songhu. If we cover the infantry charge with tanks again, they will be defeated without fighting. After saying that, the little devil smiled proudly. That's right, that's right. Qindao Jun, what you said makes perfect sense. I almost changed my combat strategy by this round of surprise attacks. Raid, that's a method only used by the weak. After speaking, Fujita Inoue's gaze became extremely fierce. Prepare the artillery unit for shelling. Give me a hard beating. Shoot a base of shells. Fujita Inoue waved his hand. Yes, Your Excellency General Fujita. At the same time, Chen Huayong, who had just completed his rocket attack, put down his telescope in his hand. Send the order down. All the 187th and 188th divisions are ready for the shelling. Chen Huayong smiled faintly and said, the little devils are going crazy. Since that's the case, let's make him go crazy. Yes, Commander. Su Jinshan replied without hesitation. P.S. Thank you for the reward from the big shots of One Head, Two Big Names. Thank you all for your monthly ticket support, thank you. Sincere thanks. A new book is not easy, but I will work hard to persevere. Also, my brothers should have noticed some differences in my anti-Japanese war article. Mainly, the author also wants to write about our Chapter 10. Roaring Type 89 Heavy Machine Gun, Doudingtan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The 3rd Division of the Little Devils is truly the elite unit among the Little Devils, and their speed is very fast. Under the command of Division Commander Fujita Inoue, the artillery squadron quickly took their positions. This 2 heavy artillery squadron is equipped with a total of 36 Taisho Type 7 150mm heavy cannons, 20 Type 90 240mm heavy cannons, 12 Type 96 150mm heavy howitzers, and 6 Type 98 320mm mortar guns. The firepower can be described as extremely fierce. On the Battle of Songhu, these little devils had an absolute advantage on the battlefield thanks to continuous bombing by heavy artillery squadrons. Now, the 3rd Division is repeating its old techniques. They want to use the attack of the heavy artillery squadron to achieve the goal of eliminating the viable defense force in front of them. Prepare. Launch. A little devil quickly waved the flag in his hand. 2 heavy artillery squadrons of the 3rd Division bombarded their target positions at the same time. Bomb. 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 The bombardment was extremely rhythmic, accompanied by a deafening sound, and a large amount of artillery fire poured towards the position of the 187th Division. The gunfire fell, and at every landing point, there were flashes of fire. The soil was blown up and splashed, and the smoke of the explosion filled the entire battlefield. The scene looks extremely terrifying. Of course, it's just that it looks scary. Because at this time, the 187th Division was already hiding in defensive fortifications. When it comes to the construction of defensive fortifications, the world may never find anything more suitable for forging defensive positions than the Peak Army of Light Infantry. Don't say it's the Little Devil's artillery. Even if it's the amount of ammunition in the white-headed Eagle's Van Frit, there's nothing we can do about the 187th Division hiding in the defensive fortifications. As the commander, Chen Huayong accurately predicted the judgment of the Little Devil commander. Commander, how did you know that the Little Devils would shell our army? Watching the Little Devils' artillery fire almost instantly cover the position of the 187th Division. Su Jinshan admired Chen Huayong to the point of being completely devoted. His big boss is really unpredictable. Prior to this, the Little Devils were hit by rocket artillery and showed no signs of carrying out any shelling. But as the commander-in-chief, Chen Huayong decisively ordered both divisions to hide in the defensive fortifications. At first, Su Jinshan was still puzzled by the solution. It wasn't until he saw the towering artillery attacks that Su Jinshan understood how cunning and clever his master was. Seeing Su Jinshan puzzled, Chen Huayong walked up to him and gently patted his shoulder, explaining, "You picked up a stick and beat the dog at the village entrance hard. What will the dog guarding the village gate do to you when you throw the stick aside?" Of course, they were relentlessly pursuing me and biting me fiercely. Su Jinshan replied without hesitation. Smart. Chen Huayong affirmed Su Jinshan's answer and looked up at the position covered by the Little Devil's artillery fire. Now, the Little Devil is the wild dog that I used to whip with a stick. After Chen Huayong's easy-to-understand explanation, Su Jinshan suddenly realized. No wonder the Little Devils are so crazy. The more painful the fight was before, the more ruthless the Little Devil's revenge will be. Just like the crazy shelling of the Little Devils right now. The fierce shelling did not collapse the blast holes and cat ear holes built by the 187th Division. However, the rustling mud particles flew down. Pooh, pooh, pooh. A veteran holding a firearm spat out the mud shavings that had fallen into his mouth. Damn it, these Little Devils are so arrogant. His grandmother really thinks he's invincible in the world. If we wash the floor with rocket launchers again, they'll all have to finish it. Hey, good steel should be used on the blade, let alone if we keep using rocket launchers, the Little Devil's division will have to run out of it all. Will they still have the courage to break into our encirclement? The squad leader looked at the old soldier and said with a smile. It seems to make a little sense. Damn it, let's not worry. When I'm going to kill him, I'll see if it's the little devil's tank that's powerful. I still have a powerful heavy machine gun in my hand. After experiencing a whole base of shell bombardment, the little devil's artillery finally subsided and stopped attacking. At this moment, Fujita Inoue, the commander of the 3rd Division of the Little Devil, picked up a telescope and looked into the distance. The direction of the position of the 187th Division is unusually quiet. Yoshi. Such fierce shelling makes it difficult for even a mouse to survive. These pigs must have been killed. Pass the order on. Let the tank troops clear the way and cooperate with the infantry to launch an attack on the enemy's position. Fujita Inoue was very satisfied with the effect of this attack. After the gunfire stopped, he immediately launched an attack. At the same time, soldiers from the 187th Division, hiding in the shooting holes and cat ear holes, quietly placed the Type 89 heavy machine gun at the firing point. The black muzzle of the Type 89 heavy machine gun was facing the direction of the Little Devil's Doudingtan's advance. A massacre brought by the Type 89 heavy machine gun against the Little Devils. It's going to be staged soon.